The birthday party, discipline is power. The explosion rocked the night sky like a burst of daylight. Confetti rained down, shimmering under the neon lights, as the air filled with the deafening roar of a crowd chanting in unison. It wasn't just any birthday party, it was the birthday party, the event of the year. High above the sprawling city, atop the glass-walled skyscraper, Alexander Cross stood with a champagne flute in hand, surveying the spectacle with an unreadable expression. He was turning 40, the milestone that meant everything in his world, surrounded by the elite of society, business moguls, politicians, and celebrities. This was more than just a celebration. It was a demonstration. Power, discipline, and control. That was the foundation of Cross's empire. And tonight, he intended to prove it in a way no one would forget. The doors swung open, and a hush rippled through the crowd. Entering the rooftop, flanked by two stern-faced security guards, was a man in a dark suit. His hands were bound in front of him, his face impassive, though his eyes flickered with restrained fury. "Ladies and gentlemen," Cross called, raising his glass. "Tonight, we don't just celebrate my birthday. We celebrate the triumph of discipline over chaos, of order over rebellion." Murmurs spread through the room. Some guests exchanged uneasy glances, others watched with twisted intrigue. The man before them was none other than David Harland, Cross's former right hand, the man who had dared betray him. The man who had thought he could defy the iron rule that had built this empire. "David," Cross continued, circling his captive like a predator, "once stood by my side. He was brilliant, talented. But he forgot the one rule that governs true power. Discipline." The crowd held its breath as Cross took out a small, sleek remote. A single press of a button, and the screen surrounding the rooftop flickered to life. Footage played of Harland, secret meetings, whispered deals, embezzled funds. The evidence was damning. Harland's face paled, his composure cracking for the first time. Cross turned to his guests. "Without discipline, power crumbles. Tonight, I give you a gift, a lesson in strength." The room seemed to shrink as the tension mounted. Harland's fate hung in the balance. The guests had come expecting extravagance, but this was something different. Then came the twist, one no one saw coming. Just as Cross lifted his glass for the final toast, the power cut out. Darkness swallowed the rooftop. A sharp cry rang out, followed by a crash of glass. By the time the emergency lights flickered on, Harland was gone. A single voice cut through the stunned silence. "Power isn't in control, Alexander. It's in knowing when to let go," and with that, the real game began. Security scrambled into action. Guards spread out, barking orders into their radios, but it was too late. Harland had vanished into the depths of the skyscraper, swallowed by its labyrinthine halls. Cross's eyes burned with fury, his jaw tightening as he turned to his chief of security, Marcus Vane. "Lock the building down. No one leaves until we find him." Vane nodded, his face a mask of cold efficiency. The guests, sensing the shift in atmosphere, whispered anxiously. Some tried to slip away, but the exits were already secured. What had begun as a dazzling spectacle had turned into a high-stakes hunt. Meanwhile, Harland navigated the dark corridors with calculated precision. He had memorized every layout, every passage. His escape wasn't an act of desperation, it was strategy. Cross had always prided himself on discipline, but he had forgotten one thing. Harland had learned from the best. Cross returned to the center of the rooftop, inhaling deeply. His empire had been built on ruthless precision. He wasn't about to let a rogue piece disrupt his game. Pulling out his phone, he dialed a number. "Activate Protocol Black." Across the city, unseen forces moved into action. Cross had contingencies for everything, and Haaland's betrayal would be his final mistake, or so he thought. As the minutes stretched into hours, Cross felt an unease he hadn't known in years. Haaland had vanished too completely, too easily. And then, his phone buzzed with a new message. No name. Just coordinates. Fury warred with curiosity as he followed them, descending into the hidden depths of his own empire. What he found made his blood run cold. A private room. A screen flashing security feeds from his most classified vaults. And a single chair, where Haaland sat waiting. Completely at ease. You always thought discipline was power, Haaland said, standing slowly. But you never understood control isn't about force. It's about anticipation. The screen flickered, and Cross watched in horror as feeds displayed his own accounts being drained, his most loyal guards turning away. Haaland had been planning this for years. And tonight wasn't Cross's triumph, it was his downfall. The birthday party had been a stage. But the real show had just begun.